Thank you everybody for tuning in today to Izzy the Tech Guy. Today we're going to be on episode 2 where we're going to be discussing the day in the life of a data analyst. Last episode we talked about some of the skills you need and then some of the resumes and then the salary of a data analyst. So today we're going to get a little bit deeper. We're going to go ahead and present a question here of a real life data analyst question that I've seen many times in the past. So without any delays, let's get started. Please like, comment, subscribe, and just FYI, the video will be over a long video. Unfortunately, there's no quick way I could quickly run through this, but I just want to definitely take my time and walk you through this. And so if you need to pause right now and grab a cup of coffee or your beverage of choice, but we'll go ahead and get started. So here we are presented with a request to generate one-time report of the top 10 products sold in the last month, and that should include the salesperson. So we have our ask and we have what needs to be given at the end. So if you look carefully, some key things we want to look at. So it's a one-time report. So I'm going to be honest with you. Several times people are like, hey, I just need a one-off report real quick. I'll say 80% of the time that's going to turn into a reoccurring theme. Because there's something coming up that's very important. That's important to the end user, or the end customer, where they need this data. And usually when they need this data, it's because they need to answer a question, or there's other things that are in the works. So more than likely, in my experience, these end up being continuous reports. It starts off at a one-off, and then 2 months later, hey, can you provide that report? Then it's on a, hey, can you go ahead and set this up? So my first approach I'll kind of ignore this, but have that and just think about, okay, I need to create this report where I can automatically run it every month, or set it up where it can be generated every month, where you're not spending time to go because what we're going to use adventure work data set. Unfortunately, we can't use live data from different companies because, of course, you understand there's privacy concerns. So we're going to use adventure work, but I'm going to show you how I will set this up so that you can just run it over and over without recreating the wheel every single time. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to be using SQL Server. So first thing I like doing is, just so I can always have something to reference back, I put at the top here what I'm doing. I'm going to generate a sales report. So we have that going. So now the first thing a data analyst needs to do is data exploration. And I'm sure your DB will love this statement. Select top 10 star. And what I'm doing here is I'm just going to go ahead and run a select top 10 star, just to understand where the data, what I'm seeing in the data. So I know they need a one-time report of the top 10 products sold last month. So I know I need most likely some type of sales table. So as I'm looking through here, again, we're using AdventureWorks 2022. I'm just looking here. Okay, so I have a few sales table here. And salesperson credit card. Let me start with this table. So I'm bringing this in here, sales order detail. And then I'm going to run this. Let me select top 10 star. I'm going to run this. Here we go. What happened here, I had this highlighted, so in SQL Server, depending on how you set it up, for mine, when I highlight this, that's the only section that's going to run, so that's why I received that error message. So let me do select top 10 star. And this select top 10 star, I have a SQL course. If you can go back in history and you can look at it, and it'll show you what select top 10 star is. But I'm just getting the first 10 rows from this table. So this table here has a sales order ID, tracking number, quantity, product ID. I'm just looking at this, and it has a unit price. But I see I have product ID here, and what I'm looking at, I'm seeing, okay, this unit, what I'm looking at, I'm just trying to see, okay, is this one quantities 2024, or is it the total? So what I want to do here, product ID. So I'm going to do some more exploration on this table. Now most of the time you're not going to be given, hey, go to this table, go to that. No, you need to understand where the data resides. I laugh because some companies, they'll have halfway of a decent data dictionary, but for the most part, it is kind of going to be what they call tribal knowledge. Someone's going to know. You have to know who to go ask where these tables reside. Hey, where can I get the sales data? Or is this table up to date? Things of that nature. So definitely want to know the table and how the tables are set up. So right now, I'm just going to explore the data mainly. I'm not going to really go into details of like, hey, is this the historical table or is this a current table? But those are questions you want to keep in your mind. Like, okay, what, where is this data coming from this table? How often is it being refreshed? So let me go ahead and run this. And what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to, sorry, there's my print is going off in the background. So I'm just trying to look here at this product ID and trying to see if this product, if it's a one-to-one correlation between this and this. Again, this is all part of the data exploration. I almost said data correlation, data exploration. So I'm seeing here this product, for the most part, it's always 24.99, but right here I'm seeing this here, but I'm seeing a difference in the carrier tracking number. So I kind of like this table, I kind of don't like this table. So I want to go look at the product table because I'm interested to see what, is there a place I can get the product information top. So let me just look at product real quick here. So both queries ran this time. If I wanted to run just one query, I can just do this. But just so I can see what the old, because I tend to forget quickly, just so I can have an idea of what I just looked at, I go in here. So I'm looking at here product. This has a lot of details about the specific product, but does it have a price? So that makes me think like, is this unit price, is there some type of relations to something else, this unit price? Is this like, hey, this company has a discount with us, or this customer has a discount with us? So, and then I also see the line total. So one thing you see here, okay, so this is order quantity is 1, unit price is this, total price is this. So let me go back here. So I looked at the product. I kind of don't like what I see on this table. The only good thing I see here, it has a name of the product. So I can do this. Copy this here. And again, why it's important to have a data dictionary, because so you might think, I've seen this quite a bit. This is product ID, this is product ID. So you think it's the same value, but there are times where it's not the same. They're not related. That means something completely different. So definitely be mindful of that. So you see here, list price is 3,300, which is this right here. So that kind of matches. So that makes me kind of think this is the list price. And this might be just, hey, they get a discount or something. So, and this is the product name. So far from this table, from the product table, I'm liking the product ID. Well, I'm liking the name and information about the product. So I have to keep that in the back of my mind just to remember, okay. But the list price, I don't know if that might be something that might be interested. I know. And one thing as a data analyst, you got to think, okay, they're asking for top 10 products sold last month. What else could you infer from this ask, or to expand on this ask? They might be like, okay, this is how much we sold these products for. This is the discount we gave. So that's something to keep in back in mind. Okay, so yeah, we sold this, let's say for instance for 2024, but the list price is 33.74. So on that, it's the difference of this. So that might be something they want. But always keep that in the back of your mind. But again, you don't want to. It all depends. You have to have a relationship established with the individual that's requesting the data. They might want that more data, but or not. So that's one thing you gotta think about. So okay. So again, I'm just doing some data exploration here. So this table, it has some information on it that I might want later on, but for now, I think I can pass on it. And then one thing, since I'm commenting these, one thing I can do here is I can just say what I like from this table. So I like the name, and I also like the list price. So I'm just gonna write these two down here. And I did see, and right now I'm just trying to get more information about the product. Um, Let me try this table here. So again, I'm doing my select top 10, and I'll keep reiterating this. This might be something that your DB doesn't like, your DBAs. Okay, so here, same thing. So sales order ID, so 436. So this seems like this is a primary key on each of these tables. That's what I'm thinking. I'm just doing the exploration status. That's interesting. I'm just thinking like, what if a product, a sales was returned or something? Is that something they might need? So I might want to see if there's a key for this status. But I'm gonna keep on going. Sales order number, purchase order. I'm just looking through, doing some data exploration. Bill to address ID, ship to. Okay, so a lot of ID fields. Okay. So here it's interesting. So this order, if you look here, is 20. If I'm saying, I'm thinking these two are related. So the subtotal for this line was 20,000, but over here it's only 2,000. So that makes me interested to see if we have other sales order ID that's at that price. And again, going back to the question here, generate a one-time report of the sold top 10 products. So that brings me to the next question. Reviewing this question has me ask more questions. How they determine the top 10 products? Is it by sales amount, sales volume, or is it break it down to a specific product? Do you want me to include the subtotal or just the price of the product? So a lot of questions here from this, and I did leave this question open ended because this is constantly the type of question that you'll get, and it's up to you to go back and forth like, hey, so this is what I'm kind of have the data, have you go back and ask more questions, because sometimes you'll end up finding that, hey, they don't even want that, and they cancel their what they're asking you. Again, we're still in this. A big part of it is data exploration. We're still exploring the data. So from here, I like the sales order. I want to explore some more things. So looking at this one right here, I'm going to do where, because I kind of want to know more about this sales order ID. I would expect the dollar amount to be the same. So I want to see why is it different. Okay, so it's just one item here. So let me see if it's the same thing up here. More than likely it will be, but just so I can kind of understand why the amounts are different. Okay, bam, here we go. So if we look here, the sales order ID is multiple. So, and the line total. So let me do this right here. So now that I see this, I'm going to put this here. So I want to, again, do some more digging. So I'm going to have the sales order ID, and I'm going to do a quick sum to see if that amount comes up to what I'm seeing down here. Because if that does come up to what I'm seeing down in the other table, then you know I can use that other table. So now I'm going to do group by. Alright, so let's run these queries and see what we come up with. So 2056, and down here, I think that's what we saw. 2056, yep, outstanding. So this sales order header, I'm liking that. It kind of, let me think here. it sums it up by the sales order ID. So again, that's another question I'll go back and ask. Well, they want a top 10 product. So this table on a summary level by sales, I could use this table, but I think, okay, I'm gonna stick with this table. Because here I have the product and I have the line total. So what I could do, I'm thinking here, I can group by the product ID. Do I have the sales date? I do not have the sales date. But I can join here to get the sales date, which is the order date. I'm assuming, and that's my assumption. And that's another question you can go back to ask them. Hey, for the date, do you want us to go by order dates, or is there another field you want to go? And that's where you'll reach it. But for now, for this ask, I'm just gonna go by order date. I'm gonna make that be the sales date, or could it be? Do they want it to be the shipping date? Because if you see here, all three of these are different dates. But I'm gonna say it's the order date. That's the day the sale was completed. That's what we're gonna assume here. So this table right here is looking good so far. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna compare product ID. And then I'm gonna run this here. Okay, so you see, so for this one, um, so I just alias this to have it in my format that I want it. So we have here total amount. And one thing we want to do we need to, okay. I was just curious to see, do I need to do any kind of aggregation like doing like 1 times the unit price? But I think we're good here. Because for example, you see here, 3, and just to test this out, so this unit is $28. If you do 28 times 3, it's going to give you 86. So I'm good with this. So this is doing the math for us. So okay, so we have the product ID and the total amount. And now, what product is this? That's another question we need to ask ourselves. So I do see this product description table. So let me go ahead and explore that. And one thing is sometimes you might have a query that's halfway there for you, so you don't even have to go through all this and recreate the query. You might have a query that someone used in the past for something else and you just need to tweak it. But I just want to show you guys how I'm going through that. Okay, so product description, and let me, hopefully this is right, where the description ID equals 776. Let's see if this is a one-to-one. Like you see, it's product ID here, and this is product description ID. So, oops. Again, it was just a highlight that caused that error. Okay, so it's not, they're not perfectly aligned. So I might have to come back to this table and see if that might be a middle table for me to go join to. And let me comment this out because I don't think that column's in there. Okay, so product ID, and then do we have a product description in here? Interesting. I'm shocked we don't have a product description in here to join back to this. Alright, so coming back to this, I'm gonna put a S here for sales, and I'm gonna do a join, because sometimes I'm not too comfortable. I'll do a left join, and then I'll go back and do the right inner join just to make sure everything here. And this is P for product, so I'm do on P dot product ID equals S dot product ID, and then we'll come here S dot. And even though, like, let's say for like this right here, this might be the only table that has line total, but it's still, in my opinion, it's good practice to still put the alias, because you never know who comes in here and oh, this is just name and looks at your code and wants to add or change something to it. And this is failing because I need to add the P. No, I need to add the S here. Group by S and group by this. So we're good here. I'm just going to add an alias to everything. S. Let me give it a little space so I can read it a little bit easier. So I'm going to run everything. And what I am expecting to see is there's no null in here. So, which is good. Okay. Okay, and this is good. I was just checking to make sure that all these are different. So mountain 100, so these are different. Okay, so going back to our question here, so top 10 products sold last month and the salesperson. So we have the product, we have how much it was sold for. We don't have the date, so I'm running the, again, that's okay. So what do we, so the date, we're going to get it from this table here, because remember, we're going to use the sales order date as the sold date. The order date will be the sold date. So I feel confident to do a join. So I'm gonna do a join. And what are we gonna do? We're gonna name this SH for sales header on SH dot sales order. I had it right there. Sales order, and sales order equals S dot sales order ID. And then what do we want from this table? We want the date. And the date is order date. So sh dot order date. Oops. As and then we want to add this in the group by. And then, because we're doing an aggregate function, that's why we're doing the group by. So here we have it. So we have the product, the sales date, and the total dollar amount. And again, our data is old, so that's why I'm saying 2011 0530. But I'm going to show you how we're going to work around there. Okay. So we have that. And now the last thing that we want to do is add the salesperson. So let's come down here. Again, I'm going to do the lovely query that all DBAs love. I'm just going to keep beating that down because typically you don't want to do select top 10 star. Usually what you'll do is you identify at least a product or something, a primary key, then you'll go in there and you'll build off that and just keep expanding your query. But since we're working with a small amount of data here, I'm okay with that, but definitely don't want to do that in a live in a business environment. I'm not gonna say production environment because usually, hopefully, you're not querying production tables. Okay. So here we have salesperson, but there's nothing here showing that they're salesperson. So that's kind of weird to me. So I'm just looking through this database. At this point, what you would do is probably go ask someone like, hey, where can I get a table that has a salesperson name? Or you can do some more data exploration and just keep looking through these tables, see what you have here. So here I see this person's person table. So let me run these two queries. Because so far all these other queries, this right here is going to end up being the query that we create to generate our report, and it's looking good. So now I'm just looking at these two tables, seeing if there's anything I can tie. So I see business entity here. Oh, look at this. I see people's name. So sales year to date, sales last year. So let me get this one. This is a bigger amount. So 279. So I'm gonna come up here. I'm gonna get rid of select top 10. I'm gonna do select star from, and I'm gonna have a where statement. Because I'm wondering, I see business entity ID here, and I see it here as well. So I'm wondering if those two columns could possibly match. And let me type in business entity. All right, let's run this and see. Okay, so it looks like it might match. And this SP, I'm thinking this means salesperson. Let me see if there's. Now what I'm doing is just to kind of confirm my suspicions. I see, okay, so person type, so there must be a table in here that has some kind of information about person type. Person contact type. Let me see what's on this table. Select top 10 star. Now let's run this and see what we're getting. Okay, that's just for the contact. So let's come back here and run these two. Like, I'm assuming that person type equals SP, that's what that means. But I just want to verify. So I'm just gonna look. Human resource, I'll suspect people to be in there. Let me bring this in and see what's on this table. Let's see here. Okay, business entity 1, 2, 3. Okay, it just keeps going on. So I'm not sure what that is. I'm just gonna keep looking at the persons table. Entity contact, password, person's person. We looked at that one already. Alright, let's go here and look at human resource department. Maybe there's something in here that we might stumble upon just to verify. So that's just saying, hey, what department they're in. Okay, so let's go back and run these two and see if there's anything like that. Email promotion, last name. So there's nothing really in here. Is there any department ID? I do not see that in here. But this person type, I feel that. Did we do contact type already? I think we did, I don't remember. And we have salesperson already, right here. Is there anything special in there? No. So we were in human resource department. Let's see, human resource employee. Let's look at this table. Just keep on looking. Because the last thing you want to do is provide a data and then they come back like, whoa, what you provide us is incorrect. Okay, so interesting. So I don't know if you guys salary flag, vacation hours. Okay, this is like HR, real HR stuff. So I don't know if you remember we had this business entity. So I want to bring this back and see if I bring this back with the same 279. I run all this just to kind of tie it together. I want to see if it's going to say the job title sales. Yep, sales representative. So I'm getting confident that this SP stands for sales representative, so that might be a good thing. And then let's look at some information here. So I'm assuming this person's name, this is a he. This going through and just doing some assumptions. So I think SP. So and the reason why I was chasing down this SP, so because I kind of want to make sure. So this is related to the salespeople, and if we look here, another exploration we can do is. Oops, let me leave that there. Let me come down here, take this, come here. And let's just do person type. And I just want to do distinct. So what distinct's going to give me is all the unique values in this, and it's not going to duplicate it. Oops. You see what I did here? I kept this where clause. So I'm just going to run it without the where clause. That's why I highlighted everything. Okay, so you see we have different values here. I would really like to know what these values mean. But for now, I'm very confident that SP means salesperson. And we can test that out with someone else if you, to make sure. So let's run these three. And the only reason I ran these three is I want to get someone else. Let's get a 281. And then we're going to come down here and change the end statement. Come here, same thing, end statement, and let's run these two. So 2 reps, sales rep, hire date's the same. Interesting. Yeah, so SP definitely I feel means sales representative. Okay, so I like that table. Now just to remember how I got here. Okay, I went from salesperson. So I know how to tie business entities tying it. Now I need to find a way to tie sales to this. So what do we have here? We do have sales order. Let me see if there's anything on sales order tying to business entity. Salesperson ID. See, I think this is business entity 279. Is that what we've been using? Yeah, that is what we've been using. So we're going to come up here, and I should be going through because we're short on time here, but one thing I should be doing is going through and looking at, okay, is there any time where salesperson ID is null? So left join on. So I don't even need to go. I can go straight to person's person by business entity. So copy this. I'm gonna do SP for salesperson. Oops, bring this back. And SP dot business entity ID equals to, and we say those SH dot salesperson ID. Yeah, I'm gonna put it right here. So SP dot. Okay. What do I need from the salesperson table? Or the person's person, sorry, excuse me. I think I need their first name, last name, and what else would I need? I need just first and last name. And let's just kind of clean it up a little bit. We're going to do a concatenation, so first name, double pipe, sp dot last name. And you know what? There is a chance that they have a middle name. Well, there's a chance that multiple salespeople have the same first and last name, so like a Michael Smith. So let's add the middle name. I'm just doing a coalesce, so if there isn't a middle name, just put a space. As sales underscore person. Okay, there's something here that my code doesn't like. Let's just do not concat. I thought it'd be okay with double pipes, maybe it's not. So, and then right here. So I believe we are good for this query. Okay, invalid, and I select list because it's not containing. I love when I do that. Copy. I was just lazy, so I didn't. Okay. And here we go. So, well, I don't like that. Let's put a space between these. I was thinking, do I want to put, I'll just leave it like that. Put a comma, format it somewhere, some special way, but I'm just going to leave it like that. It didn't have the space in it, so, okay, perfect. So we have first name, middle name, last name. So the salesperson. So now we have the product ID. I just left it in there just in case that department might be more familiar with the product ID versus the actual product name, but I just left the product. So now we have a report that answered the minimum vague question that they asked. Sold last month. Again, we're not too worried about I'm going to show you what to do with the last month. We're not too worried about that, but top 10 products. Now, if you look here, I did kind of cheat a little bit because I have a where statement. So I'm going to take this where statement out just to show the whole code, pulling everything on every data. Because this one person might be a perfect person for your scenario, but you might have another weird scenario out there. And of course, it's going to be cranking. Okay, so here we just have a bunch of products. So now what we want to do, I'm just thinking there's several ways you can do this, but I'm just going to do it this way. So I have this. I'm going to assume that they would mean by total amounts. And I'm going to, so first let me do that. So yeah, I'm just going to make it an inner query. You'll see what I'm saying. from by amount and descending. Alright, so let me run this. Okay, so we have this is the top product right here, and we have the salesperson's name for each of these top by dollar amount. So product 780, and so I'm thinking about this report. So I know they said they wanted the top product with the salesperson names. That's where I want to come back and present them like, hey, my concern is the roll up. So if we just look at this product, and this is where you kind of want to understand what are they looking for in this data. Are you really trying to find out, hey, the top product for this salesperson, or are you trying to see top product? And that's where, again, it's like a bunch of questions you want to think about, not just spit it out to them like, here you go. Because when I'm looking at this, I don't like how Linda Mitchell is being repeated so many times. So I kind of, for me, I would want to see, okay, in the last 10 months, Linda's has sold X amounts. And here's a list of her products that she sold. And that's where you can kind of like export this into a Excel file and do like a pivot table on it, or you can present it to them like this. It has to be back and forth discussion. So, but right now, off this very vague question, this is kind of what was asked: product with the salesperson. And the only thing is, I kind of don't like I said again, 780. I would want it on one line. That's the top product. So let me show you guys how that would look. I'm gonna write a second query. Let me copy this. Copy. So that would be first result. And this would be, I could make this into a CT, but you know, I'm just gonna keep going this way. I already started this way. And again, as long as you get the answer, there's no right or wrong way to write your query. For me, I kind of would want to do a CT, kind of just to keep going back to the source of the data and pull out what I want. Looking at it now, that's what I should have done. But so this is what I'm saying I want. Product ID, and I would want the name, and I would want the total amount. Because to me, I'm questioning, is it important to have the sales date in this result? Because we know you wanted the last 10, or do you want the last 10 months? Like, so for January, this is the top. For February, this is the top. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So I'm going to run this. So you know what, let me run both so you guys can see. So you see here, so product 780, which we kind of assumed because we were seeing it was appearing a lot. That was the top product. And I'm assuming we're just gonna, just for this scenario, we're gonna say where, and get this, I'm just gonna put the sales date in here just to make it look like, hey, we wanted the last 10 months. So come here, where equal to, I always do that. Let me do 11 dash 12 dash 31. gonna put this up here just to see how the results change a little bit. And I need my where statement. Okay, this should be good. Okay, so again, still product 781, but we got rid of some of them. You know what? Let's do 2014. I'm seeing some 2014 here. Let's see if we have anything after 2014. I hope we do. Of course we don't. 01. Okay. Again, still 780. Okay, so we see here for the last 12 months, this is the product that's been sold. So we can, in a way, we can kind of present two. We can say, hey, in the last 12 months, this is the product that sold the most. And then we can also say, okay, out of those products, these are, and what I would do here, I'll take out the sales date. Just looking at it now, I'll just be like, Linda sold X amount of this product, and just list it out. That's how I would approach it. But yeah, but this is, and again, remember earlier I was saying that you want to think about, hey, this might be something that's needed. So what you could do, and we'll do this in another episode, you could present this into a Power BI and just store the data there as a dashboard. And that there it takes most of the information, the request off of you. So you presented the data and it's there. Whenever they need it, they can go and pull it. If there's anything that changes with the data, then you can go and adjust it. But that opens you up to do more data exploration and also create other reports that you need to. Instead of, we see here, this took me about 40 minutes to put together to stop and talk about it. Where that's 40 minutes you're saving. If it's once a month, once a quarter, it's still time you're saving by just going the extra step and putting in a Power BI. Well, this is like a very high level. Again, this is the type of question you receive, but this is the type of approach. If it's a what those I'm using air quotes that providing a one-time report, and this is kind of like the approach the data analyst would take to get the basic ask of it. But the main thing is to just remember going back and forth and not saying, hey, I have product ID name total. What do you want? Kind of describe the data to them. So I have products where this is the total amount. Do you want me to break it down to show you just, hey, the last 10 months, the products, or do you actually want the product and the salesperson for that product, and let them understand how it's not going to give you total for that product, but it'll give you the total by the salesperson. So that kind of throws it a little wrench in it. And that might come back and be like, hey, you know what? We want just the top salesperson and just include what they sold. So it's like data where they can kind of drill down through the data and see more things. But high level, they see the salesperson and the total amount. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. And if you have any comments or concerns or questions, please leave a comment. And you guys have a good day.